Okay, we good? Some of you will remember that when we when we went to 2 services again in the spring of last year, this first service was very sparse. Some of you remember that? And actually I said, do me a favor, for the sake of like the live stream, come sit near the front. Because it looks bad on the video if half the seats and more are empty. And then I look around the last few weeks, and last Sunday our total attendance was up 23% on the year before. And that is a wonderful thing. And so welcome to those of you who have joined us in recent weeks and months. We're so glad you're here. And Thanksgiving is a special time of year for all of us. And leading into Thanksgiving is one of the things that I'm thinking about, and I was considering myself, is this. Among the very top priorities of what I'm grateful for is I am thankful for Genesis Church. I really am. And you know, when I say I'm thankful for Genesis Church, I'm not talking about this warehouse in the middle of Medford. We were a church for 15 years when we had no building. You don't have to have a building to have a church. Church isn't the place. When I say I'm thankful for Genesis Church, here's what I'm telling you, and I hope you get this clear and strong this morning. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for every single one of you, because you are Genesis Church. And I'm not talking about the person in front of you. I'm not talking about the person beside you. I'm talking about you today. I am thankful for Genesis Church and for every one of you who shares our heart, our passion, and our vision, and is willing to get your hands dirty to make it a reality. There's a verse in 1 Thessalonians I want to share with you. A couple of verses which seem kind of applicable today. 1 Thessalonians 3, verse 7 through 9. So, brothers and sisters, we are encouraged about you because of your faith. We have much trouble and suffering, but still we are encouraged. Our life is really full if you stand strong in the Lord. We have so much joy before our God because of you. So we thank God for you, but we cannot thank him enough for all the joy we feel. We thank God for you. So Paul is writing there and saying, you know what, we've been through some really tough times, but I want you to know our life's full because of you. We have, notice the phrase he uses, we have so much joy. Why? Because of you. So we thank God for you. I want you to keep that phrase, because of you. So much joy because of you. You know, church should be the happiest group of people on earth, right? Some of you need to take that in still, all right? When in Acts 8, when Philip went to Samaria and started preaching the gospel, and it's like the city began to turn around and to come to faith in Jesus. And in Acts chapter 8 and verse 8, it says this, and there was great joy in that city, because that's what Jesus brings to us. That's what Jesus does for us. There was great joy when they turned to Christ. And I'm standing here this morning, and I identify with the words of the Apostle Paul in Acts chapter 20, where he said this in verse 24. He said, here's my determination, that I may finish my race with joy. I don't know about you, I don't just want to finish the race. I don't want to finish the race a grumpy old man. And if you said too late under your breath, repent. Right? I don't want to finish the race that way. I am determined that I will finish my race with joy and the ministry that I've received from the Lord Jesus to testify to the gospel of the grace of God. So much joy because of you. And I'm thankful for you all today. And thankful that I do experience so much joy. I'm sure I speak for all of our church staff team on that. We have so much joy because of you. No wonder we thank God for you. because of you. What I want to do this morning, I want to do something different. That's about all my preaching over. That was good. If you're visiting today, you came on a good day. Because here's what I want to do today. I want us to get a snapshot of just a few of the things that are happening, have happened around here and out from here because of you. And I've invited a number of folks to share with us this morning thinking about this. And the first thing is this: because of you, people are cared for. And I've asked Ken Carmel, Ken and Ginny direct our Grace Care community outreaches. I've asked if they'd come and just share a bit with us about how we've been able to care for people because of you. I don't know how this guy's still standing up, by the way, after the last several weeks, but he is.
How come I don't get one of those?
What? No, you've got to do this for 50-odd years before you get one of these. I mean, mine's got my name on it even.
I don't even know how you do it. It's so bright. I could barely see. You know...
Oh, wait a sec, but you do get one. Hold it close. Hold it right up close to your mouth.
Okay. Just in case you can't hear me, which is not probably likely. You know, before I started, I know we're super pressed for time today because there's quite a few of me that are going to get up and share. But I just want to reiterate what Roger had just shared, and that is because of you. Because of you is just powerful, and it's the heart of who we are as a church. And nothing gives me personally any greater pleasure and greater place to rejoice than the goodness that God has poured into our lives through Grace Care. And it's the opportunity for us as a church family to reach the community so we can live out our mission to seek and to save those that are lost. What a great honor we have from the Lord that we get the opportunity to sow seeds onto life and onto righteousness. So thank you guys for your amazing support. And I'm just going to kind of go through a handful of bullet points without getting lengthy, because I think I probably could. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ken. Myself and my wife, Ginny, over there. Oh. We have the wonderful honor of being the ambassadors for Grace Care to the community of Medford and surrounding areas, so that's really wonderful. But as a snapshot, and I actually took notes, usually not, but now I'm becoming official. A snapshot of Thanksgiving 2025, which just finished. Grace Care supplied 8 organizations with Thanksgiving dinner packages, providing full holiday meals for several hundred people. Right. The organizations we provided were mental health support programs, shelters and programs for battered women, groups assisting survivors of sex trafficking, programs supporting women coming out of prostitution. In addition, these partner groups, we also provided Thanksgiving meals directly to those we serve in the community, including seniors, homeless individuals, families in need. Hundreds of full Thanksgiving dinners were distributed through our pantry. And on Thanksgiving Day, believe it or not, we actually provided 200 complete dinners that were served to the guests who came to Genesis for our grab-and-go pickup style, delivered by volunteers who went to homeless individuals that were living on the streets in various towns around Long Island, residents of veteran home, seniors in subsidized living. Now, when you think about that, I'm amazed that we survived through it all, but we did. And we did it because we had an amazing team of volunteers that came in to help prep meals, cook meals, had folks here that helped sponsor our program. So it's a community, it's a effort that was monumental, and it was wonderful, and we pulled it off. So that's fantastic.
Great.
We also were very fortunate that we had some corporate sponsors. My friend Donnie probably will hit me for telling this, but he and his wife were tremendous donors to help make our Thanksgiving program work. So
Fabulous.
thank you, Donnie and
Yeah,
Michelle. We
amen.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We also had Northwell. I'm not sure if Iris and her husband Keith are here. It's hard to see anybody because everyone's just a blur. But Iris was wonderful in that she in 40 of her offices that she manages, they ran a food drive for us, and they had delivered what seemed to be truckloads of food.
Right.
And because of that truckload of food, we were able to meet the needs of several of those other organizations previously mentioned. So that was great.
Yeah, great.
We also had one of our fellow people that work in a unit at Stony Brook University Hospital. They sponsored a little bit of a food drive for us as well, which was great.
Great. Yeah.
Now, I thought that it would be cool if I just gave you what a week in the life of Grace Care looks like. So, on Wednesdays, we have our typical food pantry outreach, serving individuals and families in need. This year, we probably will serve somewhere up in total of about 40,000 people.
Wow. Wow.
Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, serving household seniors, veterans, people with disabilities in our mobile food and meal delivery program. This year, we'll probably serve about 6,000 meals.
Wow. Wow.
On Saturdays, we bring hot meals, pizza, produce, bread, snacks, desserts, and more delivered in the streets of Patchogue. This year, we will do about 5,200 meals.
Fabulous. Great.
We also have a new outreach that's visiting and supporting isolated seniors in our Adopt a Senior ministry. And we also have the privilege of providing food and baby products on a monthly basis to the Maternity and Pregnancy Center. Yeah. And I was fortunate that I had someone who was willing to share a brief little testimony with regard to our life here at the pantry. And basically, the heart of what he shares is basically the reason we do what we do and the reason we bring the hope that we have to the folks that we serve on a day-in, day-out basis. I'd like to share my experience with Grace Care Food Ministry at Genesis Church. I'm there almost every Wednesday. I have found that the part of the experience is this very welcoming feeling that is shown from the volunteers who help distribute the food and supplies offered. The kindness shown makes the difference between a handout and a hand up. I leave with a smile and my dignity intact. They source food from Whole Foods Market, Trader Joe's, local organic farm, Panera, Starbucks, and many, many others. I have never seen an operation such as this, and they make it look easy, but I know it's not. Another side benefit of this outreach is that I got introduced to Genesis Church, which led me to becoming a member, and this provided another form of nourishment, spiritual nourishment. Thank you to Grace Care Ministries and Genesis Church. So, our mission, which we keep it strong and we keep it in our forefront, and because we want to remember it every single day, we put a big sign in the parking lot, and that parking lot sign is that you are loved.
Yeah.
It's the heart, the soul of what we do, why we do it, and I just want to say thank you to Roger.
Wow.
There you are. Charlotte, and everyone who works to support the efforts that we bring forth every week. I hope that helps give a little bit of who we are, what we do, why we do it. But thank you, folks, for your support, and look forward to working side by side. And I also, I'll be remiss if I don't shout out to our pool of about 100 volunteers that help make what we do work every single week. We've built amazing relationships, we've made incredible connections, and it is just an extraordinary feat to see so many people come together to do and support the work that we do week in and week out. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And all that happens because of you. Because of you, people are cared for. then I want you to consider this. Because of you, the young are valued in this place. Here's our next gen pastor, Faith. Come on up, Faith. Hey, Abby.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? My name is Faith, and I've had the honor of serving our next-gen kids and youth here for the last 7 years. So that means I take care of everything from 18 and under. We're here on a Sunday morning with our amazing volunteers serving anywhere from 50 to 70 young kids on a Sunday morning. And on a Thursday night, I have a team that serves around 30 to 40 youth each week. So we thought that we would have some of our youth and one of our kids from Next Gen Kids come to share how our program has been supporting them in their growing faith and walk with Christ. So this is Gabby, and I'm going to stand with her. And you can, is she covered? I think she's covered. So I'm just going to move this, and I'm going to hold this.
Today I'm talking about how God helped me through the last 8 years of my life. When I was 4 years old, my dad had his first heart attack. It was very hard for me and my mom, my brother, and obviously my dad. I pulled through, though. It's because God helped me. I'm here to tell you that God can help you with tough times too. When I was 7 years old, my dad had another heart attack when we were on our way here that day. This was hard for me too. When I was 8, I started having stomach problems, and it was affecting me at school. And I went to my mom, Miss Faith, and my school counselor, and they all helped me. That's how God helped me. I keep this Bible verse close to me, my heart. When I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. Psalm 56:3. Thank you, Miss Faith and the church, for leading me.
Wow. Thanks, Gabby.
Perfect. And I'd also like to welcome up Lila, who goes to our Next Gen youth group.
Good morning. Can you hear me with this? Wow, he wasn't kidding. Okay. So originally, I wrote this speech for my high school public speaking class, and I showed it to Faith a few months ago, and she's like, wow, this is amazing. And then recently, she had asked me, oh, on the 30th, we're going to be giving our testimonies. Would you like to give yours? And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. She said, to both services on Sunday. And I was like, what? But standing here now, it's just, I realize how much of a privilege it is not only to give my testimony, but to be able to hear everyone else's. So thank you. According to the dictionary, religion is the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods, which is a fancy way of saying some people believe in God and some people don't. However, to me, religion is so much more than just a definition or something that people do on Sundays. But if I'm being completely honest, I didn't always feel that way. Actually, I thought I hated church for a while, not because of God or anything, but because of the people I was surrounded by. Some of them, I felt, acted like they had everything figured out, like they were somehow better than everyone else. Meanwhile, I was just sitting there, struggling to keep my eyes open, my mind so loud, my body so tired, thinking, what am I doing here? Every Saturday night, I'd argue with my dad, and despite my persistent efforts, I'd always lose, because he's my dad, and I'd drag myself to church the next morning, wishing I was anywhere else. I never wanted to go. And if I'm being really honest, I was hesitant about Christianity in general, not just because I thought church was boring, but because of the reputation that Christians have, the ones who act like they're above everyone else, the ones who are so quick to judge and so quick to condemn, the ones who make you feel like you're nothing but a sinner, and I didn't want to be associated with that. I grew up in a Christian family. My dad's side is religious, so church was not optional on his weekends, but I didn't get it. Every Sunday, I'd sit through it feeling numb, And at that time, it was like I was going through the motions but never truly living. There was no connection, no epiphany. My mind was always racing. I felt lost, and I felt like I was watching my own life from the outside. Then, one Sunday, here at Genesis Church, everything changed. Pastor Roger told us to stand for worship, just like we did every morning, so I wasn't expecting anything different. I stood there, arms at my sides, my eyes half closed, thinking about what was for lunch or whatever stupid thing always popped into my head. I was just waiting for it to be over, but then something happened. It wasn't anything dramatic. I didn't get struck by lightning, but all of a sudden I felt something. It started in my chest, this ache, and this tightness that turned into a weight I didn't even realize I was carrying. And then that weight started to lift, slowly, gently, like someone had reached inside of me, taken that weight, and just pulled it away. My whole body felt lighter, like I could finally breathe. And for the first time in years, my brain, my overactive, anxious, overthinking teenage girl brain, was quiet. Not empty, not nothing, just peaceful. And for the first time, I wasn't drowning in my own thoughts. I wasn't drowning in the noise. I could hear myself, feel myself, like I was truly there, and not some hollow version of me. And then, before I knew it, I was crying. Right there, in the middle of the second worship song, with people around me probably thinking I was just another emotional wreck. But it wasn't like that. It wasn't some act. It was real. I didn't know how to explain it. I still don't. I tried to rationalize it like, oh, maybe I'm just really tired, or maybe the air conditioning is messing with me. But I knew it wasn't that. Nothing had ever made me feel that kind of peace before. Not distractions, not therapy, not music, not anything. I spent so long searching for something, anything, to fill this hole in my chest. I'd spent years trying to drown out my thoughts, to push away the dullness that followed me. But in that moment, in that quiet, weightless moment, I felt it. God. And it wasn't some distant figure or something abstract. It was real. I felt him and the Holy Spirit with me, like he'd been there the whole time, even when I was pushing him away, even when I didn't believe. I'm not saying that that moment fixed everything. It didn't. I still have bad days, I still overthink, and I still get overwhelmed. I still wonder if I'm doing everything wrong. But what changed is that I don't feel alone anymore. I'm not carrying that weight by myself. I know now that no matter how messed up I am, no matter how far gone I feel, God is right there. I could go on about this for hours, but I know I can't. And yes, the majority of my generation believes this is all made up, and that's okay as it can be. But I know what I felt, and I know that it was real. It wasn't about the music or the setting. It was something inside me, something I didn't even know I was missing. And since that moment, I've had highs and lows. Some days my faith feels unshakable, like nothing could ever tear it down. And other days I'm back to questioning everything. But even on those days, when I feel lost and broken, and like I'm just wandering through my life, I know I'm never truly alone. I've learned that faith isn't about perfection. It's not about following a set of rules or pretending to be good enough. It's about knowing that even when you're completely messed up, and you feel like you've failed, and you feel like you've got nothing left, God still sees you. He's still there, and he's not waiting for you to get it all right. He's waiting for you to come to him in all of your brokenness. Religion isn't some tradition. It's the reason I am standing here today, and it's the reason I'm no longer just existing, I'm living. And if you're sitting here today feeling unsure, I get it. But if one day you feel like your life is slipping through your fingers, and you're going through the motions, drowning in your own thoughts, don't ignore that moment when something finally makes you feel like you're alive, because that moment could change everything. Thank you.
Oh. Great.
And it's because of you that we're able to serve students like Lila. And I'm going to welcome up Angie, who's going to share also.
Wow, it is really bright. Okay. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Angie. So before I begin, I want to say something that used to hold me back from sharing. I used to believe that my testimony wasn't interesting or deep enough compared to everyone else. But now I realize how beautiful that actually is. God works uniquely in every single person's life. Some stories are dramatic, some are quiet, and some grow slowly over time. But every single story, including mine, shares the same truth, and that's God's love, his patience, and his endless forgiveness.
Yeah.
So when Faith asked me to share today, my first reaction was honestly stress. One, because I felt like Lila's story was so much more meaningful and had so many more layers than mine, and also because it's just terrifying to speak up here. But I knew that if God was opening this door, then he intended to use my voice, as simple as my story may seem, for his glory. And that's what gives me courage today. Growing up, I had a very surface level understanding of God. I knew Christmas existed because of this religion, and I made my 5-year-old self very happy. But what 5-year-old me didn't know is that this isn't just a religion, it's a relationship with God. I knew prayer existed because of this, and whenever I tried it, I never felt seen or heard. I grew up in a lukewarm Catholic setting where I got baptized as a baby and attended Sunday services occasionally. But even then, nothing ever resonated with me. Everything changed, however, in 6th grade when I met my now best friend, Lila. She invited me to youth group here in December of 2021, and immediately I felt something I didn't even know I was missing: safety, acceptance, and warmth. And this came at a time when girls my age often feel unseen, insecure, and unsure of themselves, so youth group quickly became a place where I felt known. This is also where I met Faith, who showed me what it looks like to actually live for God, to love people with intention, with joy, and the kind of compassion that reflects Christ himself. But even then, I only came to youth group. I love the fun, the kindness, and the community, but I didn't really seek God himself. That wasn't until 2024, when I was in 8th grade, that I asked my mom if we could attend a Sunday service together. I wanted to see what made it so special for everyone else. And I will never forget that Sunday. I remember where I sat, which is over there, what I wore, which is actually what I'm wearing today, and even how I felt during worship. I felt a presence I had never experienced before. I noticed people lifting their hands, and while I was too scared to do the same, I knew something in me was shifting. I held back tears because I didn't understand how worship could feel so powerful, and I knew something in me changed that day. Fast forward to today, even though some days are still hard, I know with confidence that I never walk alone. God is with me in every high, every low, and every ordinary moment in between. No matter how heavy my week has been, I know that stepping into Sunday service will bring a peace and joy that I simply cannot explain. I felt God speak through worship, through community, and through quiet moments in my life in ways I never imagined possible. I used to wonder why people raise their hands during worship, but now I understand completely. Of course, it's to praise God, but it's also surrender and it's relief. It's like every weight I didn't even realize I was carrying suddenly lifts, and I feel held by God, truly held. Now, I attend church every Sunday, where worship is probably my favorite part, even though nothing can compete with the amazing people that preach here at Genesis. And I also help at the food pantry in the garden, but of course, I still go to youth group because that's where all of this started, and that's where I serve, I grow, and I deepen my relationship with God. It's such a fulfilling feeling to know that I have a God that is loving, kind, and all-knowing, and a family here at Genesis that walks alongside me in faith. When I look back, it's overwhelming to think of how much time I spent living in sadness, anger, and restlessness, feeling like I had nowhere to turn. But now, even though I still struggle, as we all do, I know I'm never truly alone. God is my comfort, my guide, and my reason for hope. I'm so incredibly grateful for Lila for introducing me to this community and showing me through her own life the heart of God and how impactful his love is. She pushes me, supports me, and encourages me to grow in ways I never would have on my own. And most importantly, I want to acknowledge Faith. She has been such a steady pillar in my life throughout my entire journey. The number of times I have texted her with questions and she somehow always has the answer is unbelievable. The Bible studies we've had, the conversations we've shared, and the way she's been with me through my doubts and my growth have truly shaped the way I see God, the world, and even myself. She is a constant reminder of God's love for me in my brokenness, in my healing, and in the person I'm becoming. I'm beyond grateful for this church, for the people God has placed in my life, but most of all, for a God who never stopped pursuing me even when I wasn't looking for him. Thank you for listening.
Wow. 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 That was terrific.
It's because of you that the young are valued. Thank you.
Isn't that great stuff? Because of you, the young are valued. because some of you volunteer with them, help with them, with the kids or with the teens, because you help out in different ways. You know, you help with the fundraiser to get the wreaths so they can go away on their retreat, because of the way you acknowledge and respect them around the place. And because of your faithfulness in giving, which means we are able to support a next-gen pastor and provide her with all the tools that she needs as well. Because of you, the young are valued. And then we're going to go, I was going to be naughty now, but I've started, so I'll finish. We'll go to the other end of the spectrum. And we've got someone who's not quite as young as those last three young ladies. But because of you, vision becomes reality. Come on up, Sue. And what I'm talking about here is our vision outside of these walls. Sue's going to share about the impact of her involvement with our ministry in the DR.
That is not fair. You know, bringing all those cute young people up and then me. Okay, well, it is very bright out there, so however you react, we can't see you anyway. But anyway, I first came to Genesis 8 years ago, and like most of you, when I walked in the door, I thought, this is home. And I love the many opportunities that we have to volunteer. Although it's not my motivation, I get a lot more from it than I actually give. So soon after I started to attend, Dottie had a sign-up table to sponsor a child in the Dominican Republic. I signed up to sponsor Lisha, who was 5 at the time. She's now 12, graduated from the school, and she's now in the 7th grade at the local public school. And I was really honored when I went there this previous November. She and her family made a special trip just to come visit me, although now she's not in the program anymore. When the Dominican Republic was announced, I knew God wanted me to go. No, I did not spend a long time in prayer. I knew in my spirit that I was supposed to be there. Initially, we were doing construction and medical clinics. I have no construction expertise, and I am not a medical person, but I went as a helper. I have consistently been amazed at the construction team who have built playground equipment, installed bathrooms, built pews for the church, built a church in less than 5 days, installed air conditioning in their church. Thank you, Jeff Warajima, for that. And most recently, set up a library in the school. Although many hands helped, Donna Argyropoulos had the vision to set up a library. Thanks to those of you who contributed books and money to make that happen. The medical clinics are set up in churches in local communities who don't have access to health care. We partner with a local team called Island Impact. We do have interpreters to work with the medical people. However, the language barrier does not seem to be a problem. The people feel our heart, and sign language works well. We bring large bottles of common medications that all of us have in our medicine cabinets. Thanks to those of you who have donated. We spend time separating the pills into 20 to 30 pills per patient. I remember crying the first year, watching people waiting in line for pills that I have ready access to in my home and at the local store. Excuse me. It made me aware of how much I have to be grateful for. I usually greet the people and weigh and measure them. It's not Dominican Republic Weight Watchers, just for you to know. My favorite part is meeting the children and especially holding the babies while their moms get on the scale to be weighed. Last year, I decided I wanted to learn Spanish for my Spanish-speaking clients at the pantry and to speak to my sponsored children in the Dominican Republic and the clients that came to the medical clinic. I took a semester at Suffolk Community College and went to Spain last summer for 2 weeks to study Spanish abroad. I was clearly the oldest person in the dorm, not to say the least. Believe me, it's not easy to learn a foreign language at my age. I used my poco español when greeting the clients in the clinic, and their faces lit up with a smile, and they often gave me a hug. I am far from fluent, and I made mistakes in my Spanish efforts in the DR. I'm speaking to my children and I practiced that I was going to ask them how old they were. Instead, I asked them how much they cost. Fortunately, Dottie was close by to correct my faux pas. One of the highlights of my trip is meeting my 4 sponsored children. This past year was my 7th trip, and I seemed to add additional children on each of my first few trips. I decided I had to quit after 4. The children call us their madrina, which means godmother in Spanish. I know not everyone can go on the trip, but everyone can pray. Many of you can give, and many of you can sponsor a child. There are over 100 children that still need to be sponsored. I look forward to the trip every year. Now, Roger asked me if I was comfortable saying my age. I'm glad he didn't ask me if I'd have to share my weight. That's not happening. I am 76 years old, and I don't know if that deserves applause or whatever. I'm sure I won't be able to do this forever, but I am determined to keep pushing through despite my physical aches and pains. I heard Joyce Meyer say, age is a number, but old is an attitude. Although I cannot change the number of my age, I am determined not to have an old attitude. Thank you.
Wow. That's just one terrific lady. Absolutely. God bless you, Sue. But the things she talked about that she has experienced, they happen because of you. When we talk about the DR, where our main focus is, so many of you have been down there. So very many of you sponsor children in the school that we support and finance down there. So many of you help with donations of medications and books and different things at different times. No wonder we can say, we're full of joy because of you. Because of you, vision becomes reality. And then let me just go on to this one now. You never know what's going on here on a Sunday morning. You never know what God's doing. But I'll tell you this. One of the great things about this church is because of you, everyone is welcome. And we're going to meet a couple of everyones just now. So, Mick Thomas, come on up, Mick, if you would. Thanks, man.
Sorry, I took the long way.
That's right. It's okay. You're Irish. What do you know?
I know, I took the long way. Thank you, Roger. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's great to be here. Roger asked me to talk about what Genesis has done for my faith. And I grew up in Ireland, and I'm sure we all need that another person with a weird accent talking to you on a Sunday. But before I talk about kind of what Genesis has done for my faith, just a quick history of my faith. I grew up in Ireland, Irish Catholic. Every Sunday we went to church, and a lot of us here came from different churches, and I liked it. I actually liked going to church. It was a lot of prayers, beautiful statues, stained glass windows, and you go into a little box once a week, say what you did wrong, and then off you go, do it again, and come back again next week. But I got that from a young age from school, because every school in Ireland at the time was a Catholic school. Like it or not, we had 40 minutes a day where we discussed religion. So I definitely grew up knowing about God, but I never really knew God. I knew about him, and I left Ireland about 20 years ago, and to be, and I never spoke about, I never set foot in another church again when I came to the States. I never talked to anybody, I never opened up a Bible, and I never said one prayer. And there was a time a few years back where I hit, like a lot of us, I hit a really low point in my life. And out of nowhere, I just cried out in prayer and asked God for help. And I felt this overwhelming feeling that can only be described to me as the presence of someone bigger than me. And I had to explore that, and I didn't know where, so I went back to Catholic Church in Patchogue. And my friend who's a priest there, he was the priest, and again, it was the same prayers. I knew them off by heart. I knew the words: stand up, sit down, go into the box again. And but there was one part in a Catholic Mass, for those of you who've ever been, it's the same service every single week, except one part of the Catholic Mass, the priest will read a chapter from the Bible, and he'll come out for 4, maybe 5 minutes, and he'll go, basically what Matthew was saying was, do this, don't do that, you'll be fine, back to praying again. And that, again, I knew who God was, but I knew God existed, I knew of him, I didn't know who he was. So I told my wife, Kelly, about what I was kind of going through with Dad about trying to find a new church. And she goes, well, I work with this woman, Dolly, and her and her husband, Johnny, go to this place in Medford. I go, great, I'll check it out. And I put it in the GPS. We pulled up, and I was like, where's the steeple? I don't... Did it fall down? Like And I pulled into the parking lot, and I walked up, and I saw 2 people trying to greet you, and I was like, oh, here we go. This, it's like, when you go to a store, and people just jump on you, you're like, how about I'll stand here, you look around, right? And they were kind of like, they immediately met you at the door, and I was like, but they were so nice, so loving and welcoming, and I thought, okay, that wasn't bad. And then I saw the bagels, and I was like, all right, here's where they get you. There's a place by me in Patchogue, you buy 12 bagels, you get another dozen free. And I was like, that's what they're doing. They're going to charge $4 a bagel, and that's where they get you. And no, they were free. And I came in here, and I sat. There was no big church. There was no big cross. There was no pictures on the wall. And then Charlotte came up and gave a great introduction. And then I was waiting for the pastor to come up in these colorful robes. And he had colorful shoes on, which I guess is a close... which is a close second. But the most important part... And then I saw the amazing band that come up here, and the band came up. And I thought, okay, this is going to be like kind of this karaoke thing. And it's like... But they were truly amazing. And they sang. And I think this band that comes up here every single week is absolutely fantastic. And... they really started the service off the right way. And then Roger started to preach, and he started to speak, and I started to, like I said earlier, I knew of God, but I didn't know God. And coming here every week and listening to whatever pastor happens to be up here that day, Roger, Charlotte, Jonathan, or whatever amazing guest speaker came up here, because of this church, I don't just know about God, I know God now. And when I needed it the most, this place, I found it at the right time. And there's a t-shirt, some of you might have it on, there's a slogan that they have, Seek and Save. And it's not just something nice on a t-shirt. I really personally was saved because of this church. And I know Roger and Charlotte, what you do is, without a doubt, it's just exceptional, and I hope you know how important you guys are for strengthening all our faiths and for showing us the way. And you once shared a prayer with us a few weeks back. You said in one of your prayers that you hope that people see Jesus in you, but I can promise you, coming here, we feel the love of Jesus Christ from you and from Charlotte and from every last person in here. So thank you for all you do. Great. Thank you for giving us a church and a place where we can worship every single week. And God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, brother. Okay, let me just mention, Mick is actually, you got glimpses of it, he's actually a professional comedian. That's what he does. All around the country, different, Vegas, all kinds of places, Atlantic City, all over the place. I watched him on TV one night a few months ago, and we're working together with Mick in February to put on here. He's going to basically highlight this a comedy night as a fundraiser to a fundraiser for all the materials for the house down in the Dominican that our March team is going to be building. So we're going to do something totally different, all right? So if somebody says to you, Genesis has really gone unspiritual, unsanctified, I want to tell you, we never tried to be spiritual or sanctified to start with, all right? So we're good. Mallory, you got to hear this lady and hear her story. And Mallory's going to wrap things up. If the band come and get ready, but I want you to hear from Mallory as she shares something of what God has done for her.
Thank you so much. I'm really nervous. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Mallory. I'm going to just read from my phone because it is really bright and I forgot my glasses today. But I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my absolute love and gratitude for where we are all gathered right here and right now. Oh, something's going on with my phone. This past week, I have prayed on the words to speak in front of all of you. I kept asking, please give me the perfect sentence. Let me say the most stunning phrase to really, really get my point across, to let everyone know how much this church has helped me, has saved me. But then I thought to myself, I don't need the perfect words. I am all the proof that anyone needs to understand what my Genesis family, my Genesis church has done for my life. I started coming to Genesis at this exact time 1 year ago. One of the people that had already belonged here had seen me on a particularly hard day I had been having, and he just simply asked if I wanted to join his family with him here on that Sunday. I have to be honest, I wasn't really into it until he had mentioned the free bagels and coffee. But for some reason, that Sunday, I decided to come. From the moment I pulled up, walked inside with my 2 daughters hand in hand, I felt a sense of peace and belonging that I had been searching for my entire life. Pastor Faith was the first person I met, and she felt like an actual angel on earth. I'm sorry, I'm shaking. Then I sat for my first service, and Roger was the voice that led me to Jesus. I can't explain it, but I just knew that I finally found my home, and I knew that I would be able to find my relationship with God here in this church. Genesis made me feel accepted, seen, and loved. All the preachers, Roger, Charlotte, Jonathan, they made me want to learn more, be more, and fill myself with the light and love of Jesus. I had been to my share of many churches that made me feel frightened and bad about myself, but here I have gathered a sense of worthiness and strength that only comes with having the support of church, where you can still feel like yourself, but a better version. I'm sorry. So many of my friends and family are here today because they see the change in me. They see my peace where rage once lived. They see prayers where worry once filled my heart. I am excited to be guided by the amazing people of Genesis, and I am truly so thankful to be able to have a place that allows me to exhale and recenter every Sunday. Thank you so much.
Because of you, we've got a church, people I mean, where everyone is welcome. One of the greatest joys in my life, and I speak for all of us as staff here at Genesis, our greatest joy is you. And because of you, that's just a small snapshot of what's happening in the lives of so many people. God bless you and thank you. Let's stand and sing with the band.